My thoughts was this: Bobby finally got it made. This is the greatest day you ever lived. You're going home to the Lord and you are clean. And you did the things He told you to do. So, as this line I was in approached him, I keep looking to my left. And the people on the left were 98% of the world's population. And they weren't going where I was going. They were going to the place where they'd served their gods on the earth. I saw men wrapped in dollar bills. That was their God. I saw men inside of a whiskey bottle. That was their God. I saw men that looked like drugs. That was their God on earth. I saw men that were wrapped in lust. That was their God on earth. And in hell, you'll serve the God that you served on earth. And so I was looking at that, and man, it was so dreadful I couldn't look at it. Then I turned back towards the man that was in white. And as I drew close to him, I'd keep looking at the other line. And every person in that other line would look at him, and their eyes would grow big, and they would say, it was true. Every person that was in that line going to hell had a witness of who he was. And they mocked it, and they laughed at it. But they had their witness. And they denied him. And as I looked, they were like come to the end of the roller, and they just slid down into a dark place to where there'd never be light again. And so I turned back to him, and there was a large black woman. And she was big. She was heavy set. She was big, and she had nearly 100 angels with her. And I spoke to the faceless man. I said, why does this woman have so many angels? He said, because she was a great minister on the earth. And these angels helped her do it. For she did great things for her people. And as she drew close to him, he looked out and he said, did you learn to love? And she said, yes, Lord. She threw her arms up. And he just put his arms around her and kissed her right on the lips. And just pulled her in. It was like his heart was double doors. Her and all them angels went in, and I asked, why are the angels going home? And the faceless man said, they help her do it. They now have a testimony in heaven. They are born without testimonies. And when they help somebody on earth do something, they become part of that testimony. That's what you'll judge them for, is the fruits. And he was telling me, these angels desire more to help us than we desire for them to. For they desire a testimony. They don't understand us. But they desire to be part of it, so they have a testimony in heavens of what they helped Christ do. So the next one I saw in the line was a little girl. She was 11 years old. And the Holy Spirit told me she was crippled most of her life. And the last 3 years she was bedfast, and all she did was lay in bed and pray for people. And I asked him, well, she's coming home. Why is she crippled? And he said, she'll appear like this at times in heaven. It's her testimony. The shape of her body that she is in and what she endured is part of her testimony. The eternal testimony, how she changed lives. And he asked her, did you learn to love? She said, yes, Lord. And so he kissed her, and then she went. And then there was a woman about 93 years old, and her hands were just big knots on them. Her whole body was in great pain from arthritis and other things. And she lived a long life. And he asked her, did you learn to love? She said, I learned to only love you. I was widowed really young, and I got bitter. And most of my life I spent biting saints. And he told her, but you loved me, and you embraced me, therefore you're saved, but you have no works. And he kissed her, and then she went, and I was next. So I was thinking, man, I puckered up. This is it. No more pain, no more of this trial, no more nothing. I'm going home. And I'm going home in obedience. And he put his hand out in front of me, and he said, stop. The enemy killed you before your time. And I want you to go back. And I said, I'm not doing any good. Nobody's listening to me. He said, you're a liar. For you spoke what I told you to. If you'd have spoke on your own, you wouldn't be. But you spoke what I told you to, and what I say will happen. My words will not return to me void, but they will take place. And I said, but it's so painful down there. The rejection, the persecution. And he said, yeah, you've sort of got a cowardly streak in you, but I'll work that out. And he said, when you were a Baptist, you had a love for souls. And if you still want to come in, I'll take you in after you look again at that line. I looked again at all those people that's going to hell. And they wasn't going to hell for no 100,000 years. They're going to hell for all eternity. And they'll serve their God in hell for all eternity. And I looked back at him and I said, I'd go back for one soul. I'd actually go back to the cross for one soul.